And still hanging on to 82 right now here in Champaign. There's a little bit of a breeze out there now out of the southeast, mainly out of the east, we should say. 5 to 10 miles an hour here. As we look ahead to the rest of the night, not really looking at too much going on here. Those clear skies are going to let those lows once again drop down into those upper 50s. Now, as we take a look at what's ahead tomorrow, going to be just like today. Same kind of look to it, same temperatures. As we head into the night, another cool night coming up though. A crazy temp change is in store. Details on WCIA News at 6 o'clock, which starts right now.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 6.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jacob Dickey. We open tonight's show with breaking news. 5 people are dead after a crash involving several vehicles. At least 5 more people are seriously hurt. One was a tanker truck that spilled anhydrous ammonia. People within 1 mile radius of the scene have been evacuated. It happened last night in Effingham County, just before 9:30 on Highway 40, about a half-mile east of Chitopolis. Crews from throughout central Illinois have been called to the scene. We have team coverage tonight. WCIA 3's Cole Henke has been there all day. He's live in Chitopolis. WCIA 3's Jamal Williams is also in Effingham County. First to Cole. Now, Cole, you've been talking to people all across town. Tell us more what you've learned.
Well, Jacob, everything happened here very quickly. The fire department sent out an alert across the town for everybody to evacuate. And today I spoke with people who evacuated so quickly they left behind medicines and even pets, and they still haven't been allowed to make it back to their homes. And people who evacuated had to try to find safe havens anywhere in town, sometimes the fire hall, the St. Anthony grade school over in Effingham, or just a family member's home. When Chitopolis Fire Chief Tim McMahon sent his volunteer firefighters to the crash on Route 40, he didn't know the full scope of the crash. As soon as they pulled up, they felt the gas and immediately retreated.
We had to back out immediately, as well as some of the cars that was on Route 40. They were all feeling the effects of it also. The
plume of anhydrous ammonia expanded and half the town was evacuated. Emergency crews from all around walked up and down the road and through houses, decked out in full gear and gas masks, helping people escape.
We did go house to house, and it's a good thing.
ISP reported confirmation of fatalities Saturday morning. Authorities say several others were injured and airlifted off the scene.
I am sorry to say that we do have multiple fatalities, and I'm sorry to say I don't have that exact number for you. We're still dealing with the crash and the emergency caused by the anhydrous ammonia spill.
Retired Chitopolis firefighter Bill Brumlevy was at the fire hall in town when the siren sounded. He's lived in town for 69 years, and to see it empty on Saturday was chilling.
It's so quiet in town today. It's kind of an eerie feeling, like you said. It's not good.
He and his fellow retired firefighters stayed behind to help the evacuees. He said there were people from all across the country coming in. They ended up on Route 40 after being rerouted from I-70.
They had been running a while to get, and then finally some of our guys found them, and brought them in there. But yeah, they was from Canada.
Brumlevy spent 20 years in the fire department and even longer in Chitopolis, but he said he's never seen anything like this.
No, nothing like this. And I was on the department for 20 years, and no, nothing this catastrophic, no.
Now, the National Transportation Safety Board is coming to Chitopolis to assess the damage, and the 15-member crew that is coming is going to decide whether or not they need to open an investigation into exactly what happened here on Friday evening. Reporting in Chitopolis, I'm Cole Henke, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
And Cole, we know that emergency crews have been working around the clock since last night. Have there been any injuries to first responders?
No, the fire chief in town told me that there were no first responders injured in the response to this. There were some that went out there and were immediately affected by the ammonia gas that was spreading, but once they got out of there, they recovered very quickly.
All right, thanks so much, Cole, for that report. Now, Illinois State Representative Adam Niemerg grew up and still lives in Teutopolis. He didn't have to evacuate himself, but his extended family did. He spoke with many people who evacuated Friday night and said while panic and confusion were rampant, he saw many people who were frustrated. Route 40 has seen increased traffic, especially from semi-trucks this summer thanks to construction on Interstate 70 between Effingham and Montrose.
Everything being diverted to 40. We've been dealing with this for months in Teutopolis, and now we have this happen. So it's a little bit of an emotional day. It's tough to see. My hometown, my office is right here.
Several lawmakers have told WCIA they have had conversations with IDOT about the construction happening in that I-70 corridor from Effingham to the east there, and they plan to have more serious conversations with the state's plans going forward. The governor sent out this message today on Twitter. Our hearts are with the loved ones of those affected by the car crash and chemical leak in Teutopolis last night. My administration is on the ground and we will provide state support in any way that we can. We continue our team coverage tonight. WCIA 3's Jamal Williams is there outside Teutopolis. Jamal, one of the other big mysteries is what is that gas?
That's right, Jacob. Most farmers know what it is, but if you don't, it's called anhydrous ammonia, and it's used to fertilize crops. The Teutopolis fire chief says it's pretty normal to see around central Illinois. It's stored as a liquid, but when there was a leak in the tanker, it turned into gas. He says when they got there, it was definitely elevated, and it didn't take long to realize it was some pretty bad chemicals. Throughout the night, the wind was blowing from the east, which took the cloud right down Route 40 into Teutopolis, and the chief says it acts quick.
It's very quickly. It affects your respiratory system, gets into your lungs, and if you're in the plume, it's very, very deadly.
Now he says he's not sure how long it will take for cleanup, and they're trying to transfer all the ammonia into another tanker, and finding the best way to do it can take a little bit of a while. But he's hoping people can continue to be patient and wait before returning to their homes in town. Reporting live in Teutopolis, I'm Jamal Williams, WCIA 3. Your local news leader.
Thanks, Jamal, for your reports and your work tonight in Teutopolis. Let's recap what has unfolded since last night. Again, 5 people are confirmed dead after a crash involving several vehicles. One was a tanker truck that spilled anhydrous ammonia. People within a mile of the scene have been evacuated and remain evacuated tonight. It happened last night in Effingham County just before 9:30 on Highway 40, a half-mile east of Teutopolis. Crews from throughout central Illinois have been called to the scene. People who evacuated their homes tried to find their ways to certain safe havens, including the fire hall, St. Anthony Grade School in Effingham, or a nearby family member's home. For more information on today's deadly crash and the response, go to our website, WCIA.com. Coming up, we have much more from Effingham County, how last night's deadly crash has shut down a planned festival, what organizers came up with for all the unused food.
Now, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Seth Volnoff.
Well, it feels a little bit like summer out there today. In fact, it definitely felt kind of like summer out there. Temperatures soared into the upper 80s for many places under that sunshine. Here's what we're looking at here in Champaign right now. Taking a look out towards the State Farm Center as sunset is upon us here tonight. And look at our satellite and radar picture does not show much activity here across the area at the moment. Things are going to be quiet not only for the rest of the night, but really the next few days. We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. Take a look at these temps. Even at 6 o'clock, we're still staying warm. 82 still in Champaign, 85s for Decatur and Springfield. Over there in Jacksonville, it's 84 right now. They actually made their way up to 90 degrees today, believe it or not. Wind right now looking around 5 to 10 miles an hour, now turned almost completely out of the east here at the moment. Looking ahead to the rest of our night tonight, going to see those clear skies take over. Temperatures are going to fall by about a good 30 degrees from what they did here earlier this afternoon. We'll see those upper 50s tonight for your lows. Maybe just a little bit of that isolated fog. I don't anticipate it'll be much of an issue. It'll be very similar to what you kind of saw out there here this morning. There's just patchy spots that had some reduced visibility, but overall was not too much of a factor. Tomorrow, almost going to be a carbon copy of today. We're going to see those temperatures right about the exact same mark. We're calling it 87 there, and really sunshine from beginning to end as well. Not looking at a whole lot in the way of rain here the next several days. That chance doesn't come in until about Wednesday or Thursday as a pretty impressive fall cold front's going to move on in. Until then, though, we're just going to be sitting under high pressure where we're going to stay dry and we're going to stay awfully warm as well. That lasts till about Wednesday. Then we're going to have this big trough start to move in towards the end of the week and into the weekend. What that's going to do is it's going to pretty much introduce fall weather to us down here. There's that front as we look Wednesday into Thursday. It's going to bring some rain chances along with it there. But most noticeably, you're going to see those temperatures really start to plummet. We might near record highs here the next couple of days just to wind up at the end of the week being below average, if you can believe that. We might be seeing some high temperatures in the 60s by the time we get on to next weekend. Until then, though, some heat to deal with, upper 80s, maybe a couple folks touch 90 Wednesday, Thursday. That's when that front starts to move on in and it really starts to usher in some of that fall weather. So overall, things have been pretty quiet in the weather world, but you just kind of hate to see weather play a little bit of a factor in the accident last night. You know, the nighttime happening, kind of cutting off any flow from up within the atmosphere, the wind playing a little bit of the situation too, wasn't it?
And that wind blowing it right into Topless was not good, but I think today that weather cooperated and helped officials out.
As good as it could, yep.
Right. Thanks, Seth. Coming up, we're heading back to Teutopolis Live, the latest on the deadly ammonia leak there in Effingham County. We'll be back.
Live from your local news leader, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Seth Bonoff and Andy Olson on sports. You're watching WCIA 3 News at 6.
We continue our coverage tonight of the deadly crash in Effingham County. Crews from across the region have responded to the crash and the chemical spill near Teutopolis. A hazmat team from Champaign County has responded to the scene today to help out. They are assisting with the scene and providing relief to crews who have been there since last night. Other fire crews from as far south as Mount Vernon have also responded. Numerous state agencies, including the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, the Illinois Department of Transportation, and many police departments are in the area to help keep things secure. Medical teams were also in action immediately following the crash. In addition to multiple patients airlifted from the scene, HSHS St. Anthony also received patients following the crash. In a statement, they state they received 5 patients from the scene of the crash. No information is available on the condition of those injured. The evacuation in Teutopolis has canceled several weekend events. This includes Oktoberfest, but organizers are making sure all of the food they had for this event is put to good use. WCIA 3's Jamal Williams is back live now in Teutopolis. Jamal, what are they planning to do with these meals?
Well, Jacob, if you look right behind me, the Teutopolis Civic Club is giving away dozens of meals to people who need it the most. All day, they've been handing out more than 600 hot dogs, burgers, barrettes to first responders inside the high school, and they've also made another location right behind me available for the public at Pals Electric. The club treasurer says it's sad they won't get to celebrate their annual Oktoberfest this year, but it's good to know all this food won't go to waste.
This town is incredible when it comes to situations like this. Obviously, this is something that we would have never seen or would never have planned for, but our club in general, we're here to help the town, and what better way than today to do something like this.
Now, he says club members will continue handing out food and drinks until it's all gone, and it's come in handy because there's still first responders that have been on the scene since last night and people who still can't go home. Live in Teutopolis, I'm Jamal Williams, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Thanks so much, Jamal. That's not the only thing that has been canceled. St. Francis Church in Teutopolis says that this weekend's masses have been postponed. There will be no ministry for the homebound either. The blessing of the animals has been canceled, and MA may be rescheduled for a later date. Now with us here, we are ready to take a little break. We've got some sports coverage here. The Illini over in West Lafayette. With us now, Andy Olson. Andy, the game didn't turn out like we hoped.
It was a big game that you're hoping that Illinois got up for, but we have highlights from West Lafayette. It just got over with. We'll get you that final score coming up next in sports.